You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and Sylving on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you in the Let's Play episode of Sylving. Alright y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't work. It was worth a shot though. I've been waving my arms around and shadowboxing some made-up martial art to get my blood pumping, but nothing so far. I'm glad I didn't catch anything on fire, but I still want to know what that light show was about. Don't really want to be the first human-turned-lion man to explode in bed. I've tried channeling the emotions I had back then, enraged, despondent, and inconsolable, but I held back when doing so since I didn't want to lash out at full power. Maybe that's why I've had no luck bringing it out. For now, being in full rage mode is the only clue I've got on how to activate it. Can't say for certain since I can't get as angry as back then. It's probably best I avoid that feeling while in town, in case I lose control again. The sunlight moves across the bed, leaving no place for me to avoid it any longer. I could close the shutters or force myself out of bed. I choose the third option and pull the blanket over my head. Darn, it's too hot to stay under the blanket. I am still tired, but I'm too warm now to get comfortable in bed. I squint my eyes, peeking out from the shade under the blanket, looking back at the bright light coming from the window. You win this round, son. I pull the blankets off again and lay quietly for a while, listening to the muffled sounds of the crowd beneath the window. This town must be pretty big if the market gets this noisy this early. I grab my phone from the chest and turn it on, checking the time. 11:03. It's almost noon. It's almost noon already? Must be the middle of rush hour for them. At least I think so. I don't really know what the local time is here. My phone could be off. Heck, the length of their days could be different. There's 19% left on the battery, and I didn't carry a charger with me. There's outlets for a charger anyway. I'd be fretting over it dying soon if it wasn't for the fact that it's pretty much useless in this world. Got no signal, no internet, and no chance I could reach anyone I know with it anyway. It's not even useful as a clock since I don't know if it's out of sync with the local time zone or not. Still, I want to save the little battery is left just in case. I switch my phone back off but hold on to it. Since I've got nothing to keep myself busy with, no browsing or chatting online, I don't know what to do today. I can just lay here and wait, I guess. I think I'm going insane. I pull myself up and out of bed, wrapped in the red blanket. My feet land on the pile of discarded clothes I left on the floor yesterday. I've been using the same clothes for a few days now, so I'd rather not wear them when it's just me in the room. Standing up, hunched over, I trudge over to the table. There's relief in my joints from finally being stretched out again. I didn't realize how stiff I had gotten after laying in bed for so long. Sitting back down on the stool, I put my phone down on the vanity and stare at the mirror. Oh, he's cute. Well, I look terrible. I got bedhead. It happens. Droopy eyes, messy hair, and the most miserable frown I think my face can manage. I don't think I've ever seen a lion look this drained. After all I've been through, there's not much wonder, and doing nothing but staying in a single room for days makes me feel more exhausted by the minute. God, I wish I had some coffee right now. My brain can hardly function. I'm just so tired. Ooh! God, look at that animation. Jeez. This animation work is fantastic, y'all. Whoa! Seeing my mouth open so wide, my own reflection scared me. I know my face has changed, but I still get surprised by these things. The teeth were so sharp, I thought I was about to get mauled by a wild animal for a second. I mean, I am half animal now, but it's still hard to believe this is me. This is really... wow. The tongue's so long now, hanging much farther out of my mouth than before. I'm surprised I didn't notice it earlier. My teeth had become dirk-like fangs, with smaller pointed incisors between. No wonder I could eat that bread rock. With teeth like these, I could probably crush bone. Oh, must be. The size of my mouth is incredible. I could fit my whole fist in there easily. It's also animalistic. Good morning, Aron. I close my mouth as I turn around, waving my hand to greet him. Hi, Agnar. I heard movement from downstairs, so I assumed you had awoken. How do you feel? I'm good, I guess. Just a little red. Just a little tired. Red? What the fuck? Just a little tired. I mean, I still look like crap and I'm jumping at my own reflection, but physically, I'm alright. You should probably eat if you have the appetite for it. I figured you might want something different today. It's downstairs when you're ready. But before that, I need to talk with you. Since we're forging you a new identity, it's best we ease you into it right away. Lord Miguel and I put together a plan for you. Are you awake enough to hear it? Right, he mentioned something like that the other day. I need to wake myself up a little more so I can stay focused. I smush half my face into my palm, rubbing the soft beans against the fur. Yeah, I'm awake. What's the plan? We'll be focusing on your clothes and background today and gradually introducing you to the locals. We'll need to prioritize making you blend in so they don't get the wrong idea about you. As I'm sure you've noticed, your garments are quite different from ours. I've been tasked with replacing them with something more local, so I'll be taking your measurements. Lord Miguel will provide the coin to purchase the clothes, as well as food and other items you might need. But I shall be acquiring those things in his stead. I'll also be carrying the coin purse now that I'm your guard. No offense, but I don't want to risk it getting stolen. Now that he mentions it, I've not seen so much as Miguel's pointy nose since the mishap at that cave. Where's Miguel anyway? I didn't see him yesterday. He's back home doing paperwork for the upcoming hunt. His family oversees the preparations for the event every year, and it's quite the task. He came last night while you were sleeping and told me that the work piled up in his absence. Usually they cater to the people attending, present awards, and make sure that it's safe to hunt in the woods. This year they've hired more security than is really needed, and there's been an unusual amount of time spent preparing. His older brother should be the one taking care of it, as he is the head of the family, but instead it falls to Lord Miguel. What about their parents? They're currently traveling overseas and will be absent this year, and as a result of all this, the workload is far greater this year than ever before. I think they have something in particular planned this year. Lord Miguel told me he couldn't go into detail about it as it's meant to be a secret. Since the tradition has been upheld every year, he's working hard to fulfill his duties early, so that he has more spare time to assist you. I know you must think him unreliable, but he always gets the job done when he puts his mind to it. I expect he'll visit again sometime tonight. The wolf presents a measuring tape made of fabrics that he's been holding in his hand this whole time. It looks kind of worn out. He gives an encouraging smile before noticing my clothes spread out on the floor. Are you already undressed beneath the blanket? My clothes are starting to reek. My nose couldn't take it anymore. I was hoping to wash them at least, even if I won't be wearing them again anytime soon. I see. Then I'll get straight to measuring you. You can take off the blanket now. Wait, right now? Is there a problem? I'm not wearing anything right now. The wolf gives me a confused look. I'm naked. I don't understand. That's when you normally take someone's measurements. Having clothes on just makes it difficult to get an accurate read. Is there something you don't want others to see? I wince. I wasn't expecting that we'd be doing this with nothing on. I just don't want to be measured naked. I like to cover myself first. Agnar tilts his head in canine-like fashion. It's like he's never met someone who's modest around strangers, or at all. Then he nods, not questioning it further. I understand. Then I'll be right outside when you're ready. Once he's out, I'll let the blanket fall from my shoulders and toss it back onto the bed. I glance over at my underwear laying on the floor, the sole pair I've been wearing for the past few days. I want to go commando, buddy. No. Instead, I grabbed just my pants. I figured they'd smell the least after all. After all, they're just jeans. And they're all I need to cover the more intimate parts. I give them a hard thrust to lodge them in place and let out a weak grunt when they stop at the hips. The tail's in the way. The base isn't quite above where the belt line ought to be, forcing my pants to sag lower than to my liking. Jeez, I keep forgetting that I have a tail now. Just a whole new limb sticking out my butt. When I try to release the waistband, my fingers get stuck. My claws are literally hooked into the fabric and won't come out. With a few shakes, I manage to pull them away, and predictably they tear. It's not as bad as the Swiss cheese that is my shirt's collar from when I ripped it the other day, but I probably shouldn't let these claws stay as they are if this keeps happening. I'll have to ask Agnar if he can help me trim them, or if there's some trick to avoid tearing even more clothes. I tried to make the best of it and simply fasten the zipper and button. However, there's still a small gap beneath the tail. Hopefully I'm not so exposed that he can see this is all I'm wearing. Maybe I should have tossed on the shirt, too, even if it smells terrible. But Agnar doesn't wear a shirt. Maybe I'll be fine without it. It's still kind of awkward for me, but I'll have to play it cool. Alright, I'm ready. You can come back now. Good. Now that you're comfortable, it shouldn't take long for me to measure you. He presents the measuring tape once again, gesturing to the middle of the room. Would you please stand there? I do as I'm told, standing right in front of him as he unrolls the tape. He moves closer to me, my head barely reaching his chest. I'm still amazed by just how tall he really is. He bends over slightly, down to my height. I'll start at your shoulders and move down. All you have to do is spread your arms and stand still. As he wraps the tape around me, I'm pulled towards him without much effort. It wasn't that strong of a pull, but I'm still having some balance issues, even when standing in one place. You can hold on to my arms if you're having trouble holding still. This shouldn't take long. His hands hover around my head before I feel the tape on my back. His large hands gently follow the shape of my shoulders. I take him up on his offer and place my hands on his upper arms and by his biceps. It's an odd sensation, feeling his arms. The fur is short and thick, but it really looks like the arm of any human, except bigger and hairier. He moves down my chest, following the curve of my waist. He measures the length of my torso and the thickness of my tail. Agnar straightens up, rolling the measuring tape around one of his fingers. That should do. I'll find you clothes that are loose so you can move in them freely. I'll head to the tailor and come right back. You'll be on your own for a while, but I'll try not to be long. If anyone knocks, don't let them in, unless it's Lord Miguel, of course. Your meal is downstairs in the oven. It should still be warm. I hope it's to your liking, Aron. Agnar leaves the door to the hallway open, and I hear him leave the house. I lift my arm, stretching in place for a few seconds before letting my whole body relax, then I take a deep breath. Since I'm getting new clothes, I might as well put my current ones in a single pile for cleaning later. I pick up everything, even my shoes and satchel, and tuck them into a corner on the floor. I didn't really have to, but I felt I needed to put them together in one place. As I take another deep breath, my nose picks up a familiar scent that tickles my mind. Apples. Cinnamon. And something buttery. No way, is that what I think it is? I hurry down into the kitchen, searching till I spot a small black door that I can only assume is the oven. Pulling the oven open, the tantalizing aroma grows much stronger. On the smooth clay surface sits a metal plate, and the treasure on top makes me feel more at home than anything else so far. It's an apple pie. A whole one at that. I don't like apple pie. I don't like most fruit pies in general. It's about the width of a tea plate, small enough for one person with a golden brown and shiny crust. I fetch a fork and knife from the cupboard Agnar keeps his plates and cutlery and place it all on the table. The pie is lukewarm, so I'm not worried about getting burned when handling it. Using the knife to cut a small piece out, I hold it close to my face on the end of the fork. It's moist inside, but it doesn't drip. I didn't know how much I missed this smell. How many years has it been since I last had apple pie? Alright, I don't think I've had any since Grandma passed away when I was still just a kid. She wasn't an amazing cook, but she always had the best. She was always the best at baking. She knew apple pie was my favorite, so she always prepared one for me whenever we paid a visit. I lean forward in my seat and dig in. Warmth spreads throughout my body as the flaky, buttery crust breaks apart with the tiniest bit of pressure. The sweetness of the fruit with just a hint of sourness, the toffee-like goo between the crumbs, the cinnamon bringing it all together, makes for an experience that is both pleasant and comforting. It doesn't taste like how Grandma used to make, but this is still pretty damn good. Fragments of memories wander through my mind as I continue eating. How me and my sister would play hide-and-seek behind her flower pots, and the scoldings from Grandma when we made a mess of our shoes. And there was that time I went through her closet and wore her clothes and wig to dress up as her. She could not stop laughing in her chair, and took pictures with her old Polaroid camera. It was pretty silly back then, but a lot of the strange things I did were for her, because I liked to hear her laughter. I miss her. Yeah, I fucking feel that. I've only got one grandparent left alive. It's, not a good feeling. Definitely not. It didn't take long before the pie is all gone. My full stomach and lingering taste of cinnamon really helped to wake me up. I lean back in my chair and take a moment to relax. It was really good, but I feel like I could eat some more. Before I know it, Miguel comes bursting through the door and shuts it behind him. Ah, you're up and out of the bedroom. Splendid. Hi, Miguel. Yes, good morning. I am sorry for the delay. This should have all been sorted out yesterday, but I was simply swamped with work. He's full of an odd energy, but the bags under his eyes tell a different story. He looks outright exhausted. I can see him teetering on the spot. Just how much has he been working since I last saw him? I was just so behind on the paperwork, and my older brother gave me such a scolding. With so many coming and we many through the documents of before big what? With so many coming and we many through what? Many through what? The fuck? He pulls the chair across from me out a little, then practically crashes it into it as he attempts to sit down. His satchel falls effortlessly to the floor. With so many more coming this year, so much to do, so much to do. He tilts forward in his seat, struggling to keep his eyes open, and starts nodding off. Before suddenly bolting upright in his seat, eyes wide in shock as he realizes he was about to fall asleep. My apologies. I dozed off for a moment there, didn't I? I'm gonna pause it right there. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all if I do for the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our 2 gold tier patrons. One of them's named Zeke, and I still can't quite remember the name of the other person. I am very, very sorry, but we love you both. You're awesome. We appreciate what you're doing for the channel. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits and get access to all of our Not Safe for Work contents as little as $5. And if y'all want to get your get a custom portrait made by L, $15 for the gold tier. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!